The Luna, our moon. Our moon, is it really ours? The moon, also known as Luna, was created 4.6 billion years ago, roughly 30 to 50 million years after the solar system's creation. It is the only naturally occurring satellite of the Earth. The moon rotates synchronously with Earth, so the same side is constantly facing the planet. The Soviet lunar program launched the first unmanned lunar mission in 1959. Apollo 11 made the first crewed lunar landing. Dimensions of the moon in relation to the Earth. In terms of width, the moon is roughly 1/4 or 1/4 the size of Earth. In other words, the Earth is approximately 4 times broader than the moon. That is roughly equivalent to the size of the US or of Europe. Facts about the moon. The idea of the moon's dark side is untrue. However, only one face of the moon is ever visible from Earth, despite the fact that both sides of the moon receive the same amount of sunlight. This is due to the fact that the moon rotates on its own axis in precisely the same amount of time as it takes for the moon to orbit the Earth, keeping the same side facing the Earth at all times. Only from spacecraft has the human eye been able to observe the side facing away from Earth. The moon is responsible for rise and fall of the Earth's tides. The gravitational force of the moon causes 2 bulges in the Earth, one on the side that faces the moon and the other on the opposite side that faces away from the moon. High and low tides are brought on by the bulges as they migrate over the oceans as the Earth spins. Away from the Earth, the moon is cruising. Every year, the moon distance from our planet decreases by about 3.8 centimeters. About 50 billion years are predicted to pass before it stops. When it occurs, instead of the present 27.3 days, the moon will orbit the Earth in roughly 47 days. On the moon, a person would weigh far less. You would weigh around 1/6, 16.5% of what you do on Earth, since the moon has a far weaker gravitational field than Earth does due to its smaller mass. The lunar astronauts were able to leap and bound to such great heights because of this. Only 12 individuals, all of whom were American men, have set foot on the moon. Neil Armstrong, on the Apollo 11 mission, became the first person to walk on the moon in 1969, and Gene Cernan, on the Apollo 17 mission, became the last person to do so in 1972. Since then, only unmanned vehicles have traveled to the moon. There is no atmosphere on the moon. This implies that the moon's surface experiences significant temperature changes and is not shielded from solar winds, meteorites, or cosmic radiation. The moon has no atmosphere, thus there is no sound, and the sky is permanently dark. The moon vibrates. They result from the Earth's gravitational attraction. During their missions to the moon, lunar astronauts utilized seismographs and discovered that tiny moonquakes frequently occurred many kilometers below the surface, resulting in ruptures and fissures. Similar to the Earth, scientists believe that the moon has a molten core. In 1959, Luna 1 became the first spacecraft to land on the moon. This Soviet-built vessel was launched from the USSR. Before entering an orbit around the Sun, it came within 5,995 kilometers of the moon's surface. In terms of size, the moon is the 5th largest natural satellite in the solar system. The moon is substantially smaller than Jupiter's and Saturn's largest moons, measuring only 3,475 kilometers in diameter. Both the Earth and the moon are around the same age, despite having approximately 80 times greater volume on Earth. The moon was once a part of the Earth, and according to a widely accepted idea, it was created from a piece that broke away as a result of a large object impacting with Earth when it was still relatively young. Do you know US thought about dropping a nuclear bomb on the moon in the 1950s? In December of that year, Apollo scientist Gary Latham suggested detonating a smallish nuclear device on the moon in order to facilitate research into its geological makeup. The idea was dismissed because it would interfere with plans to measure the moon's natural background radiation. Let us know your thoughts about our moon in the comments.